This yoga series was developed at the University of New England by physical therapy students, yoga experts, and oncology physical therapists thanks to generous grant support. As the format developed, we consulted with parents to understand their perspective and the experience of having a child with cancer. We learned that concerns are often safety, energy, and balance. Therefore, these issues were heavily considered during the filming of these videos. Our goal in consulting with experts, physical therapists, and parents was to ensure safety and that these videos were targeted specifically for pediatric cancer survivors. It is common for children to have side effects of treatment, and therefore these videos were designed to make them feel stronger, energized, and more balanced. Please consult with your oncologist or physical therapist if you have any questions about these videos. Thank you for watching.
These videos are not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Prior to utilizing these videos, please consult your physician or physical therapist. If at any time during these videos you have any of the following symptoms: shortness of breath, dizziness, lightheadedness, nausea, chest pain, rapid heart rate, or vision changes, please stop exercising and consult your physician or physical therapist before resuming.
So we're gonna start in bridge pose. So you're gonna lay right down on your back with your knees bent and your feet planted. Relax your head onto the floor. And then bring your arms down at your sides so you can walk your feet in a little bit towards your hips. You might be able to feel your heels with your fingers. And then you're gonna make sure those feet are planted firmly, and you're gonna slowly send your belly up to the sky, coming into bridge pose. Then if that's hard for you, or if you wanna do it a little bit easier, you can use a yoga block. So Gus, can I slide a block under you? Ready, lift up. There, and then you can rest right on that. Awesome, and you can do it with a pillow, or you can do it with a folded up blanket if you don't have a yoga block at home. Awesome, so relax your shoulders, relax your head. Take a nice deep breath in, really fill your belly up. And then you can lower your hips back down, or you can take your block out and come back down. That's bridge pose. That's a nice stretch for the front of your body. And it's nice with the block. It's a little bit more relaxing that way. Awesome. So next we're gonna sit up tall for boat pose. So same sort of setup with your feet planted. But this time, instead of leaning all the way back, you're just gonna lean back a tiny bit. So you wanna keep your spine nice and tall and strong and your chest lifted. And then start to lean back a little bit. So you'll feel a little firing up in your belly muscles. And then you can have your hands on your legs, or you can bring them down to the floor for a little extra support. And then you're gonna start to lift your legs up. So you can do one leg at a time, or you can try to lift both legs up. You can keep your knees bent, or you can work to straighten your legs, but maybe you'll be able to lift your arms as well. So this is a full boat pose. So the next pose we're gonna do is a half pigeon pose. So you'll start on your hands and knees, and then you're gonna send one leg out. I'm gonna start with my left leg out behind me, and then I'm gonna walk my right knee up towards my wrist and kind of swing my foot up towards my other wrist. And then I'm gonna slide down to try to bring my hips down to the ground. If your hips do not touch the ground, you can grab a prop, you can use a blanket, you can use a pillow, or anything you have handy. You can slide right under your hip to let it support it. So that if you can't bring your hips to the earth, you can bring the earth up a little bit higher. So a proud pigeon is like this with your chest lifted. You can lift your gaze up to the sky, or then you can start to let your pigeon rest down on the ground, maybe onto your forearms. Maybe you can let your whole head rest. And let it all the way out. And then you'll walk yourself back up. Another way to do that is on your back. If that doesn't feel good, or if it's just too hard for you, you can lay down on your back, just like we did for bridge pose. So come on down, try it this way. Lay right down. And then instead of lifting your hips this time, you're gonna bring one, try to do it with your right foot, bring your right ankle to your left knee. Yeah, awesome. And then you're gonna hug that, you're gonna lift your left foot up and kind of hug your leg into your chest. That's called a figure 4 stretch. Nice, so guys, send your right knee out a little bit. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, that looks pretty good. Can you feel a stretch? Yeah, can you feel a stretch? Awesome. So now bring your feet down and then switch your legs. So lift that left foot up this time. Nice, and then hug it into your chest. Take a big breath in. Great, and then put both feet down. Awesome, and we're gonna do one more pose called a pretzel twist. So do you guys remember easy pose? Nice and tall, zipped up spine, proud chest, relaxed shoulders, soft face. And then we're gonna twist our body over to the left. So you're gonna bring your right hand over to your left knee. You can rest on top or maybe kind of outside towards the top of your thigh. Then you'll take your left hand behind you, press your hand into the ground, sit up really tall, breathe in, and then breathe out, and take a look over your left shoulder. Full breath in, helps you sit up really tall, and a full breath out, helps you relax and soften. And then we'll switch it over to the other side. So the left hand to the right knee, right hand behind you, sit up tall, breathe out, and twist. So we're gonna do hero's pose. So you're gonna sit with your legs tucked under you and your hips down on your heels. You're gonna bring your hands to your thighs or your knees. Sit up nice and tall, and then relax your shoulders. Awesome, so take a big breath in, get really tall through the crown of your head, and then breathe out, relax. So if you need to modify this pose, you can take a block or a book or a blanket, and then you'll just stick that block between your feet, your ankles, and set your hips down on there. So if you have a block, you can do it at any angle or any height that feels good. Like that. And remember to take big breaths in and big breaths out. We're gonna come onto our hands and knees next for cat and cow pose. So yeah, you can set your block aside, any other props you have, and then come down onto your hands and knees in table pose. So wrists right under shoulders, knees right under hips. And you wanna let your eyes settle on a spot right between your hands. You're gonna make sure you set up your wrists and your hands right under your shoulders and your knees under your hips. So we'll start in a table pose where our back is nice and flat. And then with an inhale, we're gonna drop our bellies and lift our tail up, lift our gaze up, open the chest. And then when you breathe out, you're gonna round through your spine, taking your gaze in towards your belly, dropping your head. Cat pose. Inhale for cow pose. Think about pulling your shoulder blades together, opening up the front of the body. And cat pose, stretching out the back, dropping the head. One more time, inhale to a cow pose. And exhale, cat pose. So nice flexion and extension for the spine. Really good exercise to do for your spine. Okay, our next pose is gonna be a giraffe pose. So we'll set up in tabletop again. Setting up your alignment, making sure you're nice and strong in your arms. So you don't want your elbows bent. You don't wanna be collapsing at all. You wanna keep that chest nice and proud and strong. So with an inhale, you're gonna stretch your left arm up to the sky. Maybe your eyes will follow your arm or your hand. If that doesn't feel good, you can keep your eyes down at the ground. Beautiful. And then we'll breathe out and drop our hand back down to the ground. Awesome, then we'll do the same thing on the other side. So inhale, this time your right arm will lift up. Awesome, and then breathe out. Your hand will come down. Great. And to modify that one, we'll do a different pose called rainbow pose. It's a similar kind of a stretch. So it means if you want to come show that one, you're going to stand on your knees and then stretch your right leg out. Awesome, so you're going to kind of press the inside of your foot down into the ground. Perfect. You're going to let your right arm rest on your thigh. Then you're going to breathe in and stretch your left arm up and maybe stretch over to the side a little bit. Awesome. And then you can look up towards the sky, or you can be down at the ground, wherever is comfortable for you. Take a big breath in. Really feel that stretch in the side of your body, and breathe out. And then we'll come back up. Awesome. And then let's take it on the other side. So we'll stretch our left leg out. Left hand on your thigh or your knee or wherever it lands. Right arm up and over. Nice. Something about reaching up through those right fingertips. You can feel that stretch along the side of your body. Take a big breath in and then let it all go. Awesome. Come back up. And our next pose is a frog pose. So you're going to take your feet out really wide with your toes out at an angle, out a little bit. And then you're going to keep your spine nice and tall as you sink your hips down, so bending the knees. You can stay like this, or you can bring your hands together at your heart, or you can even bring your hands down to the ground. Nice. And then if you want to modify this one, you can even do this by a chair, so you can sink your hips down onto a chair with your feet on the ground. If you have yoga blocks, you can set them up at any height. So if you can get really low to the ground, you might do it like this, or on any level. Like this. You just want to rest your sacrum right on that block. And again, you can bring your hands together at your heart. Use your elbows to push your knees out a little wider. Deepen the stretch. Take a big breath in and let it out. Awesome. Then we're going to sit back down in our hero pose with our legs tucked under, or an easy pose for a snake breath. You're going to take a big breath in, and then make the sound of a snake when you breathe out. Seeing how long you can make that sound last. We'll do it one more time. Big breath in, and let it all out. Okay, so we're gonna set up our mountain pose first. So we're gonna bring our feet to plant firmly on the ground with a little bit of space in between. So to check that your feet are in the right position, you're gonna bring two fists together and make sure they fit right between your feet. So mine were a little too narrow. Awesome. And then we're gonna make our feet really strong by lifting up our toes and then thinking about spreading them really wide and putting them back down on the ground. Nice. And then take all that strength and energy from the earth and bring it up into your legs. Feel your quads engage. Feel all the muscles starting to tighten. And then bring that strength into your belly and up into your chest. Stand nice and tall and proud. Relax your shoulders. Maybe pull them a little bit back. Then bring your hands with your palms facing forward. So even your fingers are strong here, spreading really nice and wide. And then you're going to lift your head up into the clouds, standing really tall. Take a big breath in and let it all the way out. So then if you want to grow your mountain a little bit bigger, you can stretch your arms up and either keep them nice and wide or maybe bringing your palms together for a mountain peak. Great. And if your arms get tired, you can always drop them down at your sides. Next, we're gonna move into down dog pose. Downward facing dog. So it's like a dog stretching out. So you're gonna walk your hands out in front of you with your hips nice and high. And then you can readjust. If you feel like your feet are too far up, you can step them back and find a place that's comfortable for you. So you wanna keep your eyes looking back towards your toes. Maybe give your head a little shake to make sure your neck is relaxed. And then you can take your dog for a little walk. You can bend one knee and ground through the opposite heel, pedaling out the feet a little bit, walking your dog out. You can even grow a tail by lifting one leg up. And then switching your legs, trying it on both sides. And then to modify this pose, you can drop the knees down, coming to your tabletop, and then walking the hands out in front of you. So stretching through the arms and resting the head on the ground. Taking a full breath in and a full breath out. And we'll walk our hands back up. Awesome. We'll get ready for our next pose called dragon pose. So we're gonna stand up. And then we're gonna take a big step forward and drop our knee down. So I have my right foot in front and my left knee down. Nice. And you're gonna make sure your knee is right over your ankle. So if you're back here, you wanna come forward a little bit. And if you're going really deep into it, maybe just pulling it back a little bit. Great. So we're gonna press really strong into that foot. And then you're gonna lift your arms up with an inhale. Palms facing one another. Maybe the pinkies can turn in a little bit more. Then find a focus point for your eyes straight ahead. Take a big breath in, then stick out your tongue and blow out some fire. Go. And then if your arms get tired, you can always bring them to your sides like this, or you can use some yoga blocks for your hands to rest on like this. And then you can also do this near a chair or a couch or anything close by for support if you need a little extra support. Great. And then we're gonna set up for our next pose called warrior pose. So we're gonna stand up tall, and I'm gonna step forward with my left foot this time. I'm gonna turn my right toes out to the side a little bit. And then I'm gonna bring my hands to my hips. Make sure they're shining forward like headlights. And then we're gonna bend into our knee. And if you need to widen your feet a little bit to get your hips to face forward, you can do that. And then again, making sure your knee is tracking right over your ankle. And notice if your knee is coming in, you're gonna wanna send it out towards your pinky toes to protect your pinky toe to protect your knee. And then from here, we'll take a big breath in and sweep our arms up to the sky. Warrior one pose. And again, if your arms get tired up here, you can always bring them down. And to modify it, you can also drop the knee down, coming into a runner's lunge like this, with the top of the foot down or the toes tucked under. Your choice. And again, arms up or down for warrior or runner's lunge. Okay, so we're gonna end our sequence with a breath called bumblebee breath. So you can sit in easy pose with your legs crossed, or you can do our hero's pose with your legs tucked under, however is most comfortable. You can even do this one laying down if you want to. I like to do it sitting up. So let your hands rest on your legs. Make sure you're nice and tall and strong in your spine. And then we're gonna take a big breath in, and we're gonna buzz like a bee when we breathe out. Bzzz. See how long you can make it last. Take a big breath in and buzz it out. Nice. And another fun way to do it is to bring your hands over your ears like this to grow some bumblebee wings. You'll notice it'll sound a little bit different when you have your ears plugged. You can even close your eyes if you want to. I'm going to close my eyes, but if you want to, you can try it. So breathe in. And then buzz it out. Bzzz. Bring your hands down. Take a big breath in. And let it all the way out. Great job. All right, so we're gonna set up our first pose called side angle pose. So from the back of your yoga mat, you're gonna take a big step forward and then turn your back toes out a little bit, like our warrior two legs. So your hips are open to the side here. And then we'll bring our right elbow to rest on our thigh, or right above our knee, flipping your palm to face up, opening up the shoulders. And with a big inhale, you're gonna reach your left arm up over your head, forming a straight line from your fingers all the way down the side of your body to your toes. Nice job. Then you can lift your gaze up towards the sky or towards your hand, or you can let your eyes settle on the floor to help you balance a little bit more. Nice job. Take a big breath in. Let it all the way out. And then come on up. Our next pose is going to be a warrior two pose. So same setup with your legs. So you don't have to go anywhere. You have that big bend in your front knee. Awesome. And then your hips, so your hips are turned to the side for this one. So yeah, you're going to turn. Awesome. And then stretch your arms out with your right arm going forward and your left arm going back. Opening up your chest. Make sure your shoulders are relaxed. Sometimes when I do this, my shoulders kind of lift up, but I have to remind them to just drop down and relax. Great, and then you're going to take your gaze over your front right fingertips, straight ahead. Take a big breath in, and then breathe out. Maybe bend into your knee a little bit more to go a little bit deeper if you want to. Another big breath in, and let it all the way out. We're going to come back to our mountain pose and set up for a balance pose next called airplane pose. So find those strong legs, strong belly, strong chest, strong arms, strong head. Big breath in, let it out. All right, so now find something in front of you on the ground to focus your eyes on. When you focus your eyes on something that's not moving, it'll help keep your body nice and still. All right, so now we're gonna start to balance. We're gonna lift our left knee up into our chest, towards our chest, and then give it a little squeeze. Perfect, keep those eyes focused. And then slowly start to bend forward from the hips as you send that left leg out behind you. Flying like an airplane, bringing your wings out to the sides. Nice job, you guys. Take a big breath in. Let it out. And then see if you can fly that knee back up in front of you. And bring your foot to the ground. Perfect. Let's try it on the other side. So we'll balance, find our mountain pose, and then we'll lift that right leg up. Perfect. Keep those eyes focused on your drishti, and then start to bend forward. Awesome. Nice. So to modify this pose, you guys can come on out. To modify this pose, you can do it with a chair in front of you, or you can even hold onto someone's hands. So do you want to show how you can do that? So you can rest your hands right on my hands, and then start to fly. Nice. And if you don't have someone to help you do it, you can press your hands into the wall or into a chair or a couch, whatever is close by. Great, we're gonna do one more balance pose called tree pose. So starting in our mountain pose again, nice and tall and strong. Important to find your strong base before you start to balance. So you feeling strong? Ready? Okay. So we're gonna lift up our right foot first. And then you're gonna swing your knee out to the side to open up your hip. Nice. And then you can keep your foot right down on the ground, or you can bring it up a little bit higher, below your knee or above your knee, but never on your knee. Nice. Awesome. So tree pose. Your arms can become some branches. So you can do whatever you want with your arms. You can make it your own. You can lift them up really high if you want to be a super tall, maybe like a pine tree. You can bring your arms out to the sides. You can make them a little crooked if you want to. Not all trees are straight. You can flow in the wind a little bit, or you can bring your hands to your heart. Remember to keep those eyes focused on your drishti, your focus point, something that's not moving down on the floor or up straight ahead in front of you. Nice job. And then drop that foot down. We'll take it on the other side. So left foot this time. Might feel a little bit different on this side, and that's okay. So find where you want your foot to be, modified down with your toes on the ground, rooted tree, or with that foot lifted up, pressing into your thigh or your inner shin, and then hands either to the heart or maybe up overhead for a full breath in and a full breath out. Okay, so we're gonna end with a relaxation. So you're gonna be laying down on your back, Let your head come down to the floor. Let your arms and your legs settle down. Nice, and then you can choose. Your hands can rest with your palms face up or your palms face down on the ground, whatever feels better for you. Take a big breath in. Let your whole body relax as you breathe out. So we're gonna take a scan of our whole body and help every part of our body relax. So we're gonna start with our toes. Think about your toes and maybe squeeze all the muscles in your toes really tight. Curl your toes in. And then let your toes relax. Let your feet get really heavy. Nice job. Now we're gonna move up our legs to our calf muscles. So the lower part of your leg. Squeeze the muscles in those calves. And then let them get soft and heavy. And up to your thighs. Squeeze all the muscles in your legs. Let them relax. Nice job. Now lift up one leg and squeeze through your toes, get everything tight, and then let that leg relax down. Other leg, lift it up. Maybe you'll breathe in when you squeeze everything tight, and then breathe out. Let both legs come back down and relax, nice and heavy through the legs. Nice. Now think about all the muscles in your belly. Squeeze all those muscles nice and tight. And then let the muscles in your belly get soft. Think about your chest. Maybe take a big breath in and feel your chest get big like a balloon. And let it all go. Nice job. Now take a big breath for your back. Feel your back touching the ground, melting into the floor. Think about your shoulders. Maybe lift your shoulders up and squeeze the muscles in your shoulders, and then soften them. Let your shoulders relax. And then your arms, you're gonna lift up both arms as you breathe in. Squeeze your hands into fists, get really tight. Squeeze all the muscles in your arms. And then breathe out, let your arms relax. Let them be super duper heavy on the floor. Finally, take a big breath in for your head. Send some breath into your brain. Then squeeze your face really tight, like you're making a raisin face. Squeeze your eyes shut. And then breathe out. Let your face get nice and soft and smooth. Nice. And we'll do one more deep breath together. You can close your eyes if you want to. Take a big breath in for your whole body. And then breathe out. Let your body get nice and heavy and relaxed. After we do yoga, it's nice to let your body just rest, just for a little while. And then when you're ready, you can bring your knees into your chest and give them a big hug. Maybe you'll rock from side to side a little bit. And then come back to a seat, back in our easy pose where we started. We'll take a big breath in, stretch your arms to the sky, and then bring your hands to your heart. Breathe out. Give a little bow of your head, and thank your body for helping you do some yoga today.